Hello, welcome to the Kennedy Space Center. This is the SSPF High Bay. We're here to talk to you about a very important milestone in the lifespan of the International Space Station. And with me I've got Center Director Bob Cabana and the Director of the Exploration Research and Technology Programs Organization, Josephine Burnett. And the first thing I'd like to really talk to you two about is what it took to build and what it's taking us to maintain an international orbiting laboratory in space.
Wow. I can remember, I think first off, to put it in perspective, it was the KSC team that put the ISS on orbit. And I remember every module coming through this high bay, and Josie, you were a part of it. And at one point, we had so much hardware in here, we couldn't even fit it all. We had to move stuff into the high bay in the ONC building. They had solar arrays and truss structure in there because they wouldn't all fit in here. And what an amazing job the team did, processing all that hardware and getting it into space. What are your thoughts on that, seeing it all come through here?
Boy, it was just an amazing time in my career. The way I like to look back on it and think about it, assembling the space station, the International Space Station is the greatest human achievement as it relates to like a construction site. If you think of it like a construction, think about the pyramids. People created the pyramids many, many years ago. That was a huge accomplishment for the technology that they had at the time. For ISS, it was the pyramids on steroids. We were assembling a piece of a living quarters in microgravity in low Earth orbit, and the last place all of the U.S. elements saw on Earth was this building. The very last place that hardware was on the ground available for everyone to see other than the crew that has seen it was here in the SSPF, and what an amazing time.
And not just the U.S. elements. I mean, everything but the Russian elements. Kibo, the Japanese laboratory, Columbus, the European laboratory, Node 2 that was built by Alenia in Italy, the MPLMs, which we have one here, Leonardo, Raphael, and Donatello, all that hardware flowed through here before it went to space.
Absolutely, and each element that came through, each international partner element that came through, it was really kind of cool. We gave them a little piece of space, right, a little spot here in the SSPF High Bay, and it became their sovereign territory. They used whatever processes they wanted to use, and I do remember coming down here and just taking a look at all the different, the hardware and the people and the teams, and looking at the toolboxes and just saying, wow, is that how you spell wrench in Japanese, right? It was just a really, it was a hopping place.
Speaking of the construction of the ISS, right, talking about the story of, I believe, STS-88, is that correct? You've got a lights-on story, a light switch story.
Well, the first thing we did was Nancy Curry was my arm operator, and she grabbed Unity and lifted it out of the payload bay, and she had about an inch or less of clearance on either side, and I did not know you could move the arm that slow. But it was like watching grass grow, but she was very, very precise. We got it out of the payload bay, attached it to the orbiter docking station, and that set us up for the rendezvous with Zarya. And so we went through our whole rendezvous profile, flew it down into the payload bay. Eventually we grabbed Zarya, lifted it up, and attached it to the other end of the node, to PMA-2. And at that point, we had a space station. When it came time to actually open the hatch to go in, Jerry Ross was going through all the procedures, and I was up there with him. And I said, Sergey, come up here. And I grabbed Sergey Krikalev, who was our Russian crewmate. And if you watch any video or pictures of us ingressing into the space station, every hatch that we went through, Sergey and I went through side by side, because it was an international space station, and I felt it really important that we enter as an international crew. But I will never forget that. It was really special.
What else is your team looking for over the next couple of years? ISS is going to be extended through 2024. You're going to be busy for some time. What are you looking at?
The team that we have here at KSC, we are continuing to resupply station. We're flying spares, not just spares, essentials, nitrogen, oxygen, eventually resupplying the cooling system. So we're doing a lot of continuous sustainment of the station. We're leading the agency when it comes to plant research. We're using space station as a microbial observatory.
What is the space station doing currently to get us to Mars? And I'd really kind of just like to hear what you have to say about it.
It is a stepping stone to exploration beyond planet Earth. As fantastic a scientific laboratory as it is, to me, one of the great purposes of the International Space Station is serving as an engineering test bed to prove those systems that we need for a long duration space flight to Mars or anywhere beyond planet Earth. You know, right now with current propulsion technology, you're talking a 1.5 to 2 years to go to Mars and back. I think it's really neat that Scott Kelly's up there right now on his 1-year mission, critical to our exploration beyond planet Earth. And, you know, the ultimate goal, of course, is boots on Mars. But we got a lot that we need to learn in order to be able to do that. And I believe the capability-based architecture that we are developing with SLS, with Orion, eventually leading to a HAB module, eventually leading to a lander, you know, it is the right architecture to allow us to explore beyond our home planet.